Well, Kelsey Mitchell showed up in a big, huge way. 89-73, they went into Las Vegas and whipped the dog shit out of Las Vegas. Kelsey. All right. Little ISO ball for the three. Boom.
The Indiana Fever weren't even supposed to be here. 6th seed, missing Caitlin Clark and 5 other players.
And they're all getting their clap on. Yep. Clap on, clap off. Sophie Cunningham with glasses, looking like a naughty school teacher. And then Caitlin Clark, of course, the engine.
And going up against the defending champs with the MVP Aya Wilson. That should have been the end of the story, right? Wrong. Instead, they walked into Las Vegas and flipped the entire series on its head. And the craziest part? It wasn't luck. There's a blueprint behind how they shocked the Aces. And once you see it, you'll realize this wasn't an upset. It was a warning shot.
Kelsey Mitchell disrespect is seen and felt. Y'all ain't slick. Really didn't matter now, did it? It didn't matter now, did it? This, of course, was the voting. She got 93 votes for the MVP. A'ja Wilson got 657.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Imagine this. You walk into the Champs building with half your roster gone. The banners are hanging everywhere, the crowd is loud, and you don't even have your biggest star in uniform.
It's my understanding they believe A'ja Wilson was the most valuable player. Is the Fever a better team than the Aces? I got the sense while watching this game that the Atlanta Dream was a better team than the Las Vegas Aces. One player on the court in this entire game looked like the most valuable player in the league, and it wasn't A'ja Wilson. And people forget this Aces team was a train wreck for a large part of the season.
Most people would look at that and say, no chance. That's a blowout waiting to happen. That's what everyone thought when Indiana walked into Game 1 against the Las Vegas Aces. No Caitlin Clark on the court, no depth, facing Aya Wilson, the reigning MVP, with an entire Vegas team stacked with all-stars and experience. On paper, this was supposed to be quick. For quarters, double digits, move along. It wasn't just fans saying it either. Pundits on TV didn't even act like it would be close. Commentators kept pointing at the Fever's short rotation and shaking their heads. Sportsbooks had Vegas winning by a mile, and people were even talking about a sweep before the ball was tipped. For Indiana, it wasn't about expectations at this point. It was about walking into a storm.
34 points. One player on this court looked like an MVP in the league, and it did not look like A'ja Wilson. 12 of 23, 34 minutes, 3 assists, 34 points. First player ever to score 30-plus in the playoffs for the Fever since 2012.
The lineup looked thin, confidence around them looked non-existent, and yet that's where the weird part started. Because the Fever didn't just survive the night, they flipped the script completely. Kelsey Mitchell set the tone almost instantly. She wasn't waiting for things to develop or playing it safe. She came off the dribble firing, cutting through Vegas defense like it wasn't even set. She didn't just score in bunches, she took the game away.
You see this right here. The Fever in the quarter on an 11-0 run. I mean, it was a huge game from Kelsey Mitchell, no doubt about it. And they left that quarter leading by 14.
34 points. Think about that. In a semifinal game, she dropped a number Indiana hadn't seen in the playoffs since 2012. And every shot landed like another reminder that this wasn't the same old Fever. This felt different. On top of that, the Fever's defense, which no one gave credit for, suffocated Vegas to just 73 points. The two-time league champions couldn't even reach 80 at home.
They stepped up and they shut this down. And you're going to see Howard over to Lexi. Boom. That three was a big damn three because the Aces was trying to make a bit of a run in the third quarter. That was a big three to shut that run down.
That doesn't just happen by luck. What made it wild was how they did it. You'd expect Vegas to pound the paint, play through Wilson, get easy buckets inside. But Indiana flipped that strength into a weakness. Aaliyah Boston, still so young in her own career, took on the MVP and made her sweat on nearly every touch. She cut off angles, forced Wilson to settle for tough mid-range shots, and pushed her off her spots around the rim. Suddenly, Vegas' entire offensive rhythm looked off. Every driving lane closed quicker than expected. Every post-up turned into a contested jumper. And then you had the subtle contributions, the kind of plays casual fans might overlook, but that decided the game. Odyssey Sims wasn't putting up a 30-point night, but she attacked the rim relentlessly. Every drive drew contact, and the fouls started to pile up on Vegas' rotation. It wasn't just about her own scoring, it was how it threw off the Aces' interior defense.
Natasha Howard, 12 points. Odyssey Sims threw in 17 points in this game. And Lexi Hull got 6 points and hit a 3, all right?
Lexi Hull, she locked in defensively on Jackie Young, who had been a huge scoring option all year. Hull's pressure prevented Young from getting into her typical rhythm, and that forced Vegas to lean even harder on Wilson. Those little shifts made a massive difference when the game was close. Meanwhile, away from the court, you had Caitlin Clark watching it unfold. She wasn't in uniform, but she made her presence felt online. Her reaction? Just 2 words, that was it. And yet those 2 words spread everywhere. Because if Clark, who's lived in the spotlight all season, was stunned, you better believe everyone else was too. The whole league felt it in that moment. Indiana wasn't supposed to be doing this, but here they were. Mitchell's 34 points weren't just another big night, they were historic. First Fever player to hit that mark in the postseason since Tamika Catchings more than a decade ago. That's not just a stat, that's a connection to the last time this franchise mattered on a playoff stage. It wasn't borrowed magic either. It showed what can happen when a team refuses to fold, even when they're missing pieces. The takeaway isn't that Indiana stole one lucky game. This didn't look like a fluke. It looked like a map, a guide to how you can actually beat the defending champs in their own building. That's the problem Vegas has now. They came in expecting to roll over the Fever, but what they got instead was a team that might have figured something out, and now the Aces are the ones looking for answers going forward. That one wasn't just a surprise. It was the Fever changing their identity right in front of us. For years, they were treated like a rebuilding project, but now they've shown they can punch with the biggest team in the league. The question is simple. Can Vegas adjust in Game 2, or are we looking at a new finals threat rising out of Indiana? Think about it. If a so-called hospital squad takes down the defending dynasty, what does that say about the balance of power in the WNBA? Maybe the entire league just felt a major shift.